Okay, so here's a picture after deployment and Vanguard. As you can see, it's a rather crowded table. We're just playing in a store here, and they just had it set up previously for a bolt action game. So we just pulled off a couple buildings, and then we rolled Battle for the Pass and realized how crowded this was going to be. But 4,000 points. It's a big game. Took us a long time. We only ended up getting to turn five. Just because we were running out of time, but we had a lot of fun and got to show off to a lot of people wandering through the store, share our hobby with the community. It's kind of cool. Okay, here we have an overview of Warriors of Chaos deployment. Once again, very crowded. I play this guy pretty often. He's a really great player, far more experienced than I am. Every game against him is you learn a lot and have a lot of fun. Lots and lots of banter back and forth. So the game is always very good. So on my right here we have the unit of Skull Crushers with the BSB, who's the one in the middle. Then the unit of 20 Warriors with Mark and Nurgle, and the War Altar with the level 4. In the center we have the other unit of 20 Warriors, Lord on Manacor, the Gorbeast Chariot, and then just there you can see the large unit of Chosen. Festus is in that unit of Chosen, by the way. Then on the left, you've got the two normal Chaos Chariots, the Hell Cannon, and the unit of Forsaken. Here is a quick overview of Lizardmen deployment. Here on my right, we have the unit of Pterodons, a unit of Skink Skirmishers with blowpipes, and the unit of 25 Sars. Behind them is the Engine of the Gods. So here in the center we have the two units of Salamanders, each hiding behind a building, respectively. Unit of 50 Saurus Warriors with the Scarvet and the Old Blood is inside one of those buildings. This cohort Skinks with the two Skink Priests are behind the one. Then there's another unit of 10 Skinks with Blowpipe, and behind them is the Temple Guard with Slan. You have the Scarvet Cowboy and the normal Stag. And on the far left is another unit of Skinks with Blowpipes. So here's just after Vanguard moves, with the Pterodons moving up along the bottom. Lizardmen do win first turn. This is first turn Lizardmen movement. Just moving up as you can see here, pretty simple. Horde came out of the building, cohorts went in, Spearmen came up. This was probably my first mistake of the battle. Well, second mistake if you include some of the stuff I did in deployment. But I put the engine directly behind the Spearsaurus. I probably should have kept it behind the building or moved them just slightly to the other side. You can see right at the top there the other Skinks move up into the field and the Saurus and Temple Guard move up there. So the one unit of Salamanders goes into the building, the second unit of Salamanders moved in, just fit in there. They moved first so the Temple Guard could follow up behind, and the baby Stag moves around the corner of the house trying to take a pot shot at the chariots. Lord of Manticore really didn't hit anything. I think I hit once, but I failed to wound this game. I keep on using it because it's fun, but that bow never really does anything for me. Cowboy moves up onto the hill, and the Skink Skirmishers here move forward. Pterodons moved up to be in this position, hoping to jump over the house and drop rocks on something. They do all fit there. They're kind of jumbled in there. That's just because of the way the models will fit. They're kind of a pain. I like the new plastic models, and I like not the 7th edition Pterodons, but the 6th edition Pterodons. Those were really cool. But yeah, I didn't really realize at the time. Looks a little obvious from this photo now that the Chaos Warriors that are on the left side of the building in this photo can actually see them. So that kind of bites me in the butt and makes them relatively useless for the rest of the game. Magic phase goes reasonably well. The bounce spell on the engine is really great for drawing out Dispel Dice. Same with the Bastiladons, even though I don't have one this game. I get Ice Shard Blizzard off on the Hell Cannon, trying to stop it to shoot, and I get the Hand of Glory up on the Scarvet Cowboy, boosting his movement to 9, hoping to make a long charge on those chariots. Skinks move up. That had moved up onto the field, shoot at the Gorbeast chariot, hoping for some poison wounds. So they actually do manage to put one wound on there. Get like 3 wounds, and he makes a couple of saves. But his skink shooting actually did well as far as blowpipes are concerned this game for me. But that bow didn't, and javelin sure didn't. Or actually, no, javelins did. Chaos turn 1 opens up with the Gorbeast chariot going into the skinks. I do stand and shoot and put 1 more wound on him though, so that was kind of a nice plus. Skinks aren't great anti-chariot, but they're pretty effective when you need them to be. So the warriors unit on the left of the building charges the pterodons. They flee. I do manage to get away. Gorbeast charging beforehand allowed that to occur. Forsaken charge the skink skirmishers. They stand and shoot. I don't think I kill any, but they fail the charge luckily. Skull Crushers charge the skink skirmishers sitting in the woods. None of the woods on this board turned into anything overly dangerous, so just kind of ignored them for the game. But I flee and I roll like 2 or 3 inches. It was horrible. And they get run down, so now I got Skull Crushers on my doorstep. This is not going to go well. Everything moves up, as you can see. Manticore Lord flies over the forest. Chosen move up onto the field. 2 chariots move up onto the hill, and the Hell Cannon stays put. So the other unit of warriors moves up to be an inch away from the pterodons, and the War Altar moves up as you see there. Warriors of Chaos Magic phase, really the only thing he gets off is this Fleshy Abundance on his chariot, gives it regeneration. So Hell Cannon shoots, makes the 4-up it needs from Ice Shard Blizzard, and causes 8 wounds on the Horde, and I pass my panic check. Predictably, the Gorbeast chariot demolishes the unit of skinks and happens to overrun into the horde behind. So Lizardmen turn 2, I charge the Skull Crushers. Probably not the best idea, but it is sort of the lesser of 2 evils, and this is where my decision with the Engine of the Gods comes back to bite me. If I had positioned them a little bit farther towards what would be the bottom of this picture, I would have been able to get both of them in, and with the sharpened horns I might have actually been able to do something. Scarvet Cowboy charges the chariots and fails his charge, quite predictably. Gorbeast chariot comes in and smashes up a bunch of Saurus. My Old Blood manages to put a wound on it, and I hold. No magic really happened this turn. Our magic phases were very much back and forth, both of us trying to get spells off, but burning scrolls or rolling enough dice to block it. Skull Crushers versus the Spearosaurus kind of goes as predicted. Just kind of butcher me here, but I tied him up, and he'll have to finish me off in his turn instead of just charging in and wiping me out. Warriors of Chaos turn 2. The unit here goes into my horde. The other warrior unit at the bottom attempted to charge as well, however they couldn't fit in, so that was a failed charge. The Chosen charge the salamanders that were sitting outside the building. They flee, and the Lord on Manticore goes into the building. So that's where the salamanders ended up after the flee move. They bounce through the Temple Guard. Temple Guard passed their panic check. The unit of Forsaken go into the flank of my cowboy there. And the 2 Chaos Chariots go into my unit of Skinks that I had moved up there. I missed a couple photos for movement. My engine tried to move around the unit of Skull Crushers on the very bottom of the table. This was a very poor attempt at redirection. I really could have angled that a lot better so that any overrun would have taken them right into the wall. Instead, I just took too shallow of an angle. So the pterodons did end up rallying in my previous turn. I guess I missed that photo too. And they just used their fast cav move to end up over here. And the War Altar heads towards this direction just to provide buffs and line of sight for the wizard. So the Forsaken beat my cowboy there in combat. He flees, they don't manage to catch him. I think I might have killed one, or I completely whiffed. My dice were horrible this game. So that's what the chariots rolled for impact hits. So both me and my opponent were having some pretty bad luck this game, but it was all in good fun. Despite the double ones for impact hits, they proceed to utterly slaughter the skinks. So in this combat, the Lord whiffs and the Manicore puts 2 wounds on one of the salamanders. And I actually put a wound on the Manicore back. This is after combat, obviously. He's backed up the inch. But yeah, that pseudo save where you kill the handlers instead is wonderful. I lose, but I pass my leadership check because the slant is right there. I finally finish off that stupid chariot. My old blood just did really, really bad this game, and my Scarvet didn't do much better. Other than finishing off the chariot, this fight is practically a pillow fight with 1 casualty aside. I lose, but I hold. Over here, the predictable happens. I lose, break, and get run down, so they end up right next to this house here, or the building. Lizardmen turn 3 begins with the Scarvet Cowboy rallying. He can see the Lord on Manicore. I'm kind of hoping that next turn I can charge and maybe put a wound or 2 on him. Oh, just pictures out of order. No, the Stegodon charges in first here into the flank of the Forsaken. Hopefully I can do some damage here. And another blurry picture, but the Salamanders do rally as well. The engine moves further around. I'm trying to get in range of a couple different things so I can get the bounce spell off and try and fry a couple things. Won't do much, but it draws out your opponent's dispel dice. It's quite handy that way. Either, they risk losing a dispel attempt by rolling a 1 or a 2, or they let off a spell that could do some damage. Of course, I never do in this game, actually. Pterodons move up, as you can see. I do fly over the war altar. I drop my rocks, but I do absolutely nothing. Here I had a reasonably successful magic phase. I got off Ice Shard Blizzard on the Nurgle Warriors, hoping to counteract the -1 hit for me. I also got Savage Beast of Horos off on my Old Blood, hopefully to do some damage there, and Hand of Glory to boost their weapon skill, but I only roll a 1, so it doesn't help me at all. I shoot with the salamanders out of the building, trying to hit the Lord on Manicore. I overshoot and hit both of the chariots. I actually put a wound on one of them. Skink shooting strikes again. The cohort in the building puts a wound on the Skullcrusher unit. Into combat, I kill 4 Forsaken, maybe 3, and they put 3 wounds back on the Stegodon. He then reforms to face because we ended up tying combat there. He kept on rolling, always strikes first for the ability that they get, so that re-rolled a hit, and he just had so many hits he was rolling 6s, and I just couldn't make those saves. This combat was pretty even, both killing the same, both having banners and whatnot. My Old Blood whiffs again. Can't really, just rolling so bad with him, getting no predatory fighters despite needing 5s to hit or 4s to hit with either one of my characters. I then reform to put my 2 characters right here on the end because his Skull Crushers are going to come in, and I'm hoping I can mitigate some of the damage. Warriors turn 3 opens up with the Chosen coming into the Saurus Horde here with Festus, so that's going to be fun. Lord on Manicore goes into the building, so don't think I'm going to get lucky a second time. Chariot comes over the wall into the Horde and takes 2 wounds from the dangerous terrain. That was kind of nice. Other unit of warriors, Swift performs and kind of makes it halfway across this wall. We just move that away. Same with the War Altar, just kind of turns to look at the Ancient of the Gods. He wasn't really sure what to do with the other chariot, so he just moves it kind of out of the way in an odd situation, but would be nice if I could break his Forsaken and overrun into that. He casts Gleam Magic on this unit and puts a wound on my Lore of Heavens wizard. Proceeds to steal Comet of Casadora. And with the lore attribute, I fail my toughness test, take a wound, and die. Hell Cannon shoots and pegs off a few Temple Guard. Immune to psychology, so no need for panic. My stag goes to town on the Forsaken, and they put another wound on him, and they hold because they're steadfast. Didn't get lucky a second time, and he obliterates them, but he can't go into the building because he's a ridden monster. And unless otherwise noted, everybody passes their panic checks. Challenge occurs between my Scarvet and his Warriors champion. I beat him to a bloody pulp. Otherwise, the combat keeps going. Chosen go to town, and I lose over half my horde. I break, get run down. We had a little bit of fun trying to figure out where everybody flees from and pursues. I'm not entirely certain we did it right. We fled from the Chosen as they were the biggest unit, despite the fact that they weren't chasing after me. We were running a little short on time, so we weren't really referencing it, referencing the rule book at that point. But so the Blood Crushers do run me down, and they end up right next to the building there. Good news is, though, I managed to put a whole whopping wound on his BSB despite having 8 strength 9 attacks. Lizardmen turn 4, the engine charges the War Shrine but fails. Pterodons move back over here, trying to just throw their javelins at the War Shrine. Maybe I'll get lucky. Blurry action photo of the Temple Guard charging into the Chosen. They've got the Razor Standard and the Flaming Banner, so I might actually be able to do something there. My Scarvet Cowboy charges into the Manicore, trying to prevent him from attacking the building again, maybe try to kill the Manicore. The second unit of Salamanders that had rallied previously move into this building. Magic, nothing happened. I failed to cast a couple things. Shooting Skin Cohorts put one more wound on the Skull Crushers, so I don't know, maybe if we went to turn 20 I might actually be able to do something there. Forsaken, finish off my Stag and reform to face the building. The Lord whiffs, but the Manicore bites the Scarvet's head off, and well, that was kind of pointless. He then reforms to face the flank of the Temple Guard. I lose this grind, but I'm stubborn, so I stick. I think I kill 2 or 3 of him, and he kills about 5 or 6 of me. Warriors turn 4 starts with this unit of warriors going into the cohort in the building. Skink stand and shoot, managed to kill 1. Pretty much the only reliable thing I've had this game is skink shooting. War Altar goes into the Pterodons, just trying to mop them up and get some points. Warrior unit charges into the Engine of the Gods. The Forsaken go into the building, and in this bottom left here, the Manicore goes into the flank of the Temple Guard. Warriors did make it into the building. It was kind of a fun little move. Then wheel, then complete the charge, but they did fit. Magic, nothing really happened. Forsaken here get munched up by the Salamanders. They do 2 wounds, kill a bunch of handlers, but I lose and stick. They kill a whole bunch of Temple Guard. I only kill a couple Chosen, not that many. I lose and stick. Here they kill 8 cohorts. I don't even think I kill a warrior. And I stick. I kill 3 warriors here. He puts a wound on the engine. And I lose, but I just hold just barely. Here he kills 2 of the Pterodons. And I roll Insane Courage to stick. Too little too late, but it was kind of nice to do that and just hold them up. So victory to the Warriors of Chaos by something like 2,500 points. We didn't have time to add it up. We took a long time to play this game. 4,000 points. You could do it in a couple hours if you didn't have any distractions. We're playing in a store. It was awesome to play in. The owner's a wonderful, wonderful guy. Going up there, he really supports the wargaming community. Um, so, every once in a while we're getting asked questions by onlookers, and there were two guys playing a game right next to us, so we were bantering back and forth with them and sharing the highs and lows of our games. So we started at like noon, and we were packing up at like 10 minutes before the store closed at 5:30 that day. So, it can take a long time. The second part with reading your list, checking it twice, we both messed up on this. Um, this is kind of a general thing to both newbie players and even experienced players when you're just playing with a new list is always double check your list to make sure you added up everything correctly. Even if you're using Army Builder or Quartermaster or uh, what is it? I can't remember any of the other ones off the top of my head, but double check to make sure you added everything. I ended up putting a third unit of salamanders in my list that never made it to the table, and my opponent did not give his warrior units the Mark of Nurgle in his list. So I was short 160 points and he was over it by, I don't know, however many points it would be. But, so you make mistakes. We were both pretty tired from the night before. He works nights and everything. So mistakes happen. But at the same time, it doesn't hurt to check your list before the game, and then while you're doing it, even if you have to mark off that you used your Dispel Scroll, or just double check to make sure that you actually have one, because you could be sitting there wanting to roll dice and completely forgetting that you have a Dispel Scroll. We both had some pretty bad luck that game. I think I got the shorter end of that stick, just because I could not roll worth a darn. But we just had so much fun. Like I said before, I've never had a bad game playing with this guy. It's always a challenge. It's always a learning experience. I messed up a lot on my deployment. Realized that afterwards. I could have used my stags a lot better. They would have been a perfect counter for his skull crushers. Using my unit of 25 as bait to bring them in because they're frenzied. So they would have and he would have wanted to send him up that flank, and then I just would have charged him in the flank by putting the spear behind the building such that there's a gap so that when they charge I can put both stags into their flank. The D3 wounds on the impact hits would have done a lot of harm and might have actually tipped the combat in my favor there. Playing on the Battle for the Past made it a very crowded table. I can't blame that too much, but yeah, it made maneuvering a little bit hard. So it was a straight run forward and into things, and Warriors of Chaos are really, really good at that. They can grind with the best of them. Smaller unit sizes makes it a little difficult on some things, but yeah, with Outlaw of Life, it makes it a lot harder to grind with Lizardmen. But I like the new book, I really do. This is my first game with it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a big fan of the Monster Mash lists, so you can look forward to that as I'm just trying to get more Stegodons and build a base for the old Carnosaur so that I can take that. And yeah, thanks for watching. Comments, criticisms, preferably constructive, are greatly appreciated. This is my first attempt at making this style of a battle report, and I greatly enjoy Once Bitten's, Malorians, the Sustainable Centers, Thunderhammer. Oh, who else does this style of battle report? A lot of people do, and I'm actually kind of enjoying it. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Happy wargaming.